Now, I don't happen to be a senior. I'm much younger than you. I'm a much younger man than you. Look at you old guys. Wouldn't you like to be my age? It's young, vital, vibrant. No, I'm much, much younger than the people in this room, but I feel I can relate to you anyway. See, now the fake news will go tonight and they'll say, he's claiming to be younger than the people.
Hi again, everybody. It's 5 o'clock in New York. We're not even sure what to do with that anymore, so we're just going to show it to you. You decide. But it is the age-old question with Donald Trump. Is he a liar, or does he really not remember what he said and did 30 seconds ago? It's just the latest example and the latest episode of alienating self-aggrandizement from Donald Trump, who, as his poll numbers continue to plunge, as Americans grow increasingly exasperated with rising costs and a war that hasn't been explained to them with Iran, Trump has been doubling and tripling down on burnishing his own image in increasingly weird ways. Case in point, on Friday, after he called a crowd of MAGA voters old, that's what we just showed you, and called himself, quote, young, vital, and vibrant, he unleashed a truly bizarre string of posts on social media on his own platform, Truth Social. Weird even for him. He posted 11 times. He started at 11:03 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. And the posts include an AI-generated image of J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of the Interior. You don't hear a lot about him, but he made this picture. His name's Doug Burgum. An unidentifiable woman, we're not even going to guess who that's supposed to be, and himself with abs that I'm not sure he ever had. All of them are swimming in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. It's something we don't recommend to any of our viewers. A minute later, he posts a picture of Melania Trump smiling weirdly at his post-White House Correspondents' Dinner press conference, the one where he said he needed his $400 million ballroom for security purposes. He posted a picture of himself holding a lot of Uno cards with the caption, quote, I have all the cards, which if you've ever played Uno with your kids knows that you're losing Uno. So it's not clear that he's holding those cards because he played a lot of Uno with any of his children. We'll let Don Jr. and Eric answer that. A picture of himself in gold was also posted by Trump. A picture of dirty water in the reflecting pool, and then the blue water on the other side, like a little side-by-side, and a caption that read, quote, Hussein Obama 2012, and quote, Trump coming soon. Quote, this is what our country was before and after Trump. Donald Trump finally posted a nearly identical picture twice of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool with the caption, switching to a different font, American flag blue, a seeming reference to his decision to paint the bottom of the reflecting pool blue at a cost of $2 million to the American taxpayer at a time when only 22% of Americans feel good about the economy. So anyone looking for a hint as to why Donald Trump is trumpeting his highly unpopular vanity projects while spiraling online on social media needs to look no further than this latest polling in the Washington Post that we've been covering today. It finds his disapproval rating reaching a record high for the Washington Post poll, 62%, driven by his voters, Republican-leaning independents who have grown fed up with his presidency. As historian Heather Cox Richardson puts it, quote, as Trump's popularity has sunk to new lows, he has renewed his efforts to remake Washington, D.C. into a monument to himself, almost as if he is trying to anticipate history by making future Americans think that he must have been great because of all the tributes to him in the Capitol. Donald Trump's increasingly erratic public missives, largely being spun as legacy-making self-aggrandizement, is where we start the hour with former Republican Congressman, January 6th committee member Adam Kinzinger is here. Before serving in the House, he served in the Air Force and Air National Guard. He is the founder of Country First. He is the author of a new book, That's What Heroes Do. We're so happy to get to talk to you. We've covered you for years. We covered every second, every minute, every development of the January 6th Select Committee. And I wonder if we could just start there. I mean, what is it like to have made the case to the country, but to have had the country take 6 years to see it the way you and Congressman Raskin and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney and all the Democrats on the committee told the country Donald Trump was?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it is like, hey, we told you so, right? But then I also still am heartbroken at the number of people that are told every day by a same news organization that didn't cover the January 6th hearings, by the way, on purpose, that everything's fine, everything's great, Iran is one. And so there's people out there that still don't know. And I think the tough thing for me in the aftermath has not been anything except like I feel bad for the people that are being misled down this path. But I guarantee you something, and I know this, in 5 or 10 years, there won't be a single person left in this country that will ever admit to supporting Donald Trump, except for those that have their stuff all over Twitter. Because I think the speed at which he's spiraling, I mean, we're a year and a half into him. The speed at which he's spiraling, I think, is just going to increase. And eventually people are going to be like, yeah, we've had enough.
So you guys do the investigation that reveals the illegal things that he was doing on January 6th, including wanting to use the military in political and illegal ways. What is your warning based on that hard evidence of what he's going to do in the midterms and beyond? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of what we realized and a lot of what people that came out of that administration later said, too, when Donald Trump would say, like, can we just shoot, people in the legs, right? This guy has ideas that at least in the first Trump administration, there were a number of people that would come in and stop them. You have nobody like that now. And so when you threaten his power, like the midterms are going to do, or like potentially will happen at the end of his term here, he's really capable of anything. And the question is, will the military reject any decision, for instance, to put the military at polling places? Well, he's changing the leadership of the military every day. Secretary of Defense Hegseth is, and so I think we have to take anything he says literally. We have to be prepared for it. But the good thing is the country is turning against him. If he had a 70% approval right now, I'd be much more worried than the fact that the vast majority of Americans look at him and say he's a failed president.
Why does that matter?
Because if he's unpopular, now you have members of Congress that maybe start worrying about their own reelections. Mm-hmm. So maybe they actually reclaim their power. You and I were talking offline. The problem with Congress is they're choosing to give up their own power. So I think that's a big deal. If he's extremely popular, then nobody's going to want to go against him. Right. But he's not. And that's why things like no Kings rallies and stuff matter. How do you decide what to be a part of right now? You mean in terms of just...
what to support and like where are your energies?
My energies are basically in doing anything to stop the Republican Party. The Republican Party is not the party that you and I recognize. They may call themselves conservative, but there is nothing conservative about them. So my energy on the political side is like, hey, anybody that's running against a Republican, I'm with you, because it is the only way to save the GOP and someday, but it's the only way to save this country.
And I feel like we have an extra obligation, having been part of what it was before it broke so bad. Mm-hmm. And I wonder why there aren't more partners in that effort.
It's really easy and really difficult at the same time. The easy thing is when you get into politics, politics becomes your identity. It becomes everything you know. And to leave that identity is really hard.
Right, but the identity is now of a guy that looks like he's in a girdle with like blonde hair taped to his head, tweeting pictures of himself in like gold dollhouses. Yeah,
and a guy that tweets pictures of himself certainly younger all the time because he doesn't want to tweet what he really looks like. And I accept that over 10 years, when you make an example of people like Liz Cheney, me, you, everybody, and you excommunicate them, you create a fear culture. That's how a cult works, by the way. The leader of a cult will always forgive and welcome you back. And everybody could be, I could say right here, I actually really love Donald Trump. I was wrong, and I'd be at the White House tomorrow.
Call you when you get off.
Totally.
Do you think that's, so what's interesting to me is the psychology of his followers, because J.D. Vance called Donald Trump America's Hitler. Mm-hmm. I used to think, how could Donald Trump let him in and let him be his number two? I think he particularly likes people that humiliate themselves. Will you explain that psychology?
When you humiliate yourself, so like when you totally kind of come crawling back, you are now unwilling to ever stand up to him. You think about it, it's again, the more you're forgiven of, right, the more you feel you owe the leader. And so if J.D. Vance called him America's Hitler, And all of a sudden, like, you know, Trump forgives him of that egregious sin. Well, now J.D. Vance is like, I can never turn my back on him again. Because, and so it's that kind of stuff. The psychology is really demented, and I think they will write a lot of books about this. It's human psychology on the one hand, but it's something that we can certainly learn from. And it's sad, but hopefully now, you know, children in the future will be warned against falling into this kind of thing.